Greetings, my brothers and sisters, in the love and the light of our one infinite Creator. Today's topic, black magic possession and the archetype of Lucifer. What we call demon possession could be interpreted as higher density, negative entities trying to gain control of a third density entity. Also, entities in the astral planes enjoy the opportunity to be in the physical body, and opportunities are given when a person drinks alcohol, spirits, i.e. boozing, or using drugs that lower their vibration, which allows these demons or lower astral plane entities an opportunity to possess, to have an experience within the physical realm. Here's the answer from Ra. The later plan is not one of which fourth density negative social memory complexes are capable. The fourth density habit is that of offering temptations and of energizing pre-existing distortions. Fourth density entities lack subtlety and magic practice, which the fifth density experience offers. Questioner: would this be the origin of what we call black magic? Ra answers: this is correct in one sense, incorrect in another. The Orion group has aided the so-called negativity oriented among your mind-body-spirit complexes. These same entities would be concerning themselves with service to self in any case, and there are many upon your so-called inner planes which are negatively oriented and thus available as inner teachers or guides and so-called possessors of certain souls who seek this distortion of service to self. Understanding that green ray is the energy of the heart. The green ray activation is always vulnerable to the yellow or orange ray of possession, this being largely yellow ray, but often coming into orange ray. Fear of possession, desire of possession, fear of being possessed, desire to be possessed. These are the distortions which will cause the deactivation of green ray energy transfer. New question. It occurs to me that many statues or drawings of the one known as Lucifer or the devil is shown with an erection. Is this a function of this orange ray blockage? And was this, shall we say, known by, in some minimal way, you might say by those who devised these statues or drawings, etc.? Ra answers: there is, of course, much other distortion involved in a discussion of any mythic archetypical form. However, we may answer in the affirmative and note that you are perceptive. Now let's speak of third density, the veil of forgetting, the catalyst of learning and experience when one does not realize they are part of the Creator. Here's an example of what the veil of forgetting entails. Let us illustrate by observing the relative harmony and unchanging quality of existence in one of your primitive tribes. The entities have the concept of lawful and taboo, but the law is inexorable and all events occur as predestined. There is no concept of right and wrong, good or bad. It is a culture in monochrome. In this context, you may see the one you call Lucifer as the true light bringer. in that the knowledge of good and evil both precipitated in the mind-body spirits of this logos from the Edenic conditions of constant contentment, but also provided an impetus to move, to work, and to learn. New question. Now, the 15th archetype, and we're talking of the 22 archetypes, which is the matrix of the spirit, has been called the devil. Can you tell me why that is so? I am Ra. We do not wish to be facile in a central query, but we may note that the nature of the spirit is so infinitely subtle that the fruitifying influences of light upon the great darkness of the spirit is very often not as apparent as the darkness itself. The progress chosen by many adepts becomes a confused path as each adept attempts to use the catalysts of the spirit. Few there are which are successful in grasping the light of the sun. By far the majority of adepts remain groping in the moonlight, and as we have said, this light can deceive as well as uncover hidden mystery. Therefore, the melody, shall we say, of this matrix often seems to be of a negative and evil, as you call it, nature. It is also to be noted that an adept is one which has freed itself more and more from the constraints of the thoughts, opinions, and bonds of other selves, whether this is done for service to others or service to self. It is a necessary part of the awakening of the adept. This freedom is seen by those not free as what you would call evil or black. The magic is recognized, the nature is often not. New question. Thank you very much. I have a statement here that I would quickly read and have you comment on to the accuracy or inaccuracy. In general, the archetypical mind is a representation of facets of the one infinite creator. The father archetype corresponds to the male or positive aspect of electromagnetic energy and is active, creative, and radiant, as is our local sun. The mother archetype corresponds to the female or negative aspect of electromagnetic energy and is receptive or magnetic, as is our earth, as it receives the sun's rays and brings forth life via third density fertility. The prodigal son or the fool archetype corresponds to every entity who seems to have strayed from unity and seeks to return to the one infinite creator. The devil archetype represents the illusion of the material world, and the appearance of evil is more accurately the provider of catalysts for the growth of each entity within the third density illusion. The magician, saint, healer, or adept corresponds to the higher self, and because of the balance within its energy centers, pierces the illusion to contact intelligent infinity, and therefore demonstrates mastery of the catalyst of third density. The archetype of death symbolizes the transition of an entity from the yellow ray body to the green ray body, either temporarily between incarnations or more permanently at harvest. Each archetype presents an aspect of the one infinite creator to teach the individual mind-body-spirit complex according to the calling or the electromagnetic configuration of mind of the entity. Teaching is done via the intuition, with proper seeking or mind configuration. The power of will uses the spirit as a shuttle to contact the appropriate archetypical aspect necessary for the teach learning. In the same way, each of the other informers of intuition are contacted. They are hierarchical and proceed from the entity's own subconscious mind to group or planetary mind, to guides, to higher self, to archetypical mind, to cosmic mind, or intelligent infinity. Each is contacted by the spirit, serving as shuttle according to the harmonized electromagnetical configuration of the seeker's mind and the information sought. Perhaps the first item which we shall address is the concept of the spirit used as a shuttle between the roots and the trunk of the mind. This is a misapprehension, and we shall allow the questioner to consider the function of the spirit further. For in working with the mind, we are working within one complex and have not yet attempted to penetrate intelligent infinity. It is well said that archetypes are portions of the one infinite creator or aspects of its face. It is, however, far better to realize that the archetypes, while constant in the complex of generative energies offered, do not give the same yield of these complexities to any two seekers. Each seeker will experience each archetype in the characteristics within the complex of the archetype which are most important to it. An example of this would be the observation of the questioner that the fool is described in such a way. One great aspect of this archetype is the aspect of faith, the walking into space without regard for what is to come next. This is, of course, foolish, but is part of the characteristic of the spiritual Nephite. That this aspect was not seen may be pondered by the questioner. Those who are upon the service to others path may call upon the light strength in direct proportion to the strength and purity of their will to serve. Those upon the service to self path may call upon the dark strength in direct proportion to the strength and purity of their will to serve. In the mechanism of the calling, the movement is as you would expect. That is, the entities are within your planetary influence and are having come through the quarantine web, free to answer such calling. The temptations are offered by those negative entities of what you would call your inner planes. These, shall we say, dark angels have been impressed by the service to self path offered by those which have come through quarantine from days of old. And these entities, much like your angelic presences of the positive nature, are ready to move in thought within the inner planes of this planetary influence, working from time-space to space-time. All these experiences are available. It is free will of each entity which chooses the form of play, the form of pleasure. The mechanism of the fifth density entity is from density to density and is magical in nature. The fourth density of itself is not capable of building the highway into the energy web. However, it is capable of using that which has been left intact. These entities are, again, the Orion entities of fourth density. Some love the light. Some love the darkness. It is a matter of the unique and infinitely various creator choosing and playing among its experiences as a child plays upon a picnic. Some enjoy the picnic and find the sun beautiful, the food delicious, the games refreshing, and glow with the joy of creation. Some find the night delicious, their picnic being pain, difficulty, sufferings of others, and the examination of the perversities of nature. These enjoy a different picnic. Final thoughts on this subject. As an adept of the law of one, I've come to understand that all is part of the Creator. Lucifer is a figment of the imagination, an archetype in duality, the negative path. One thinks of the devil, they're either creating a thought form or drawing to themselves a negative entity of the inner planes or of the fourth, fifth densities. For we are each co-creators and create our own experiences of learning the ways of love and light. I recommend you read The Law of One, and if you've read it, then read it again, and read it again. Meditate and contemplate on this material, for the Law of One is the cornerstone of knowledge that will gain you wisdom in understanding your place in this universe and the one infinite creator that created all, that is part of all, that is the all. For each individual grows and learns at their own pace of seeking, so I recommend do your homework. Now, what we've been talking about today is advanced material, so if it doesn't quite click in your consciousness to what I'm talking about, and understand, I am here to help you. To teach is to learn, as to learn is to teach. Blessings be to each of you, my brothers and sisters, in the love and the light of our one infinite Creator. Be in peace. 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 Adonai.